Yes, that's Tom MacDonald right there, and we got him on the phone. What's good, man?
Hey, what's up, B? How you doing?
Pretty good. All the way out in L.A., right?
Yeah, man. West Hollywood right now.
That's nice. How's the weather there?
You know what, man? It's probably not as amazing as you might think, but I mean, I can't complain. It's probably about 75 today. So.
All right, so not minus 20 like it is here.
No, man. Thank God, no.
Madness. Anyway, good getting you on the phone here. I've been listening to your music for a minute here and playing it on the station and showing the people. I know I was getting some emails, I think, from somebody in your camp, some publicist or something a little while ago, and it got me put onto you at first, and then I heard you on that joint with Matt Brevner as well, the Dark Side of the Moon one, and that was like that was a big tune for me. So just getting into your music and very impressed with it, man. How long have you been at it for?
Cool, man. I really appreciate that. I've probably been at it about 7 years now. There was a couple years prior to that 7 that I was making music, but I try not to reference those years.
Word up. Everybody's got those years, though. I think the ones where they're just kind of like finding the voice, right?
Yeah, man. It wasn't. I mean, I was really young, you know. So I think that the most important part about music is telling your story. And like, if you start making music around 16, 17, 18, I think a lot of people suffer from not really having a story yet. You're too young to really know yourself. So you start talking about what you hear other rappers talking about, and it's always a mistake. So. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I kind of figured it out around 19 or 20, so I'd say 7 years doing it properly for sure.
Word up. Well, definitely sounding very, very honed and skilled. It's like you've been putting your time wisely.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
For sure. And you're on the West Coast, originally from Vancouver area, right?
Yeah, I was born in Vancouver, and I spent around 6 years in Edmonton. And that's kind of where the music stuff started, out in Edmonton, and then did it for a couple years out there. And it's just like, it's a very small scene, and there's some really talented guys out there. But when I was around, it's the same. I'm on an interview right now. Sorry. I lost my dog. Oh, I haven't seen it. No, sorry, sweetheart. Some girl just rolled up on me asking if I've seen her dog. Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, it was a very small community out there. It's about the same, 40, 50 guys at all the shows. So I mean, you figure out pretty quick, if you really want to do something music-wise, you got to go elsewhere. So I made the move back to Vancouver, and then been grinding it out in Van probably for the last 5 years or something. And just in the past 2 years, I've started to frequent LA and hang out quite a bit out here. So.
What's that like down there? Like, what's the switch and the difference between Vancouver and LA, you think?
Well, I mean, the scene out here is massive. It's huge. Lots of guys, rapping and producing, and I've always said, man, I think that Vancouver has the resources. We got a great talent pool. We got world-class producers and world-class artists and world-class video guys and directors and everything. And you can really get your craft to an industry standard in Vancouver, but there's no industry to present it to. Mm-hmm. So, that's why I came out to L.A., and I think that's probably the biggest difference is, the presence of, a real music industry out here. It's not just a bunch of artists and producers and people doing awesome stuff. There's, all the majors are out here. Like some of the biggest indie labels in the world are out here. Some really important publicists and managing companies and stuff like that. So I think it's that presence of those industry people that's the main difference.
Have you got a chance to link up with any of those people? The publicists and managers and labels and stuff like that?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, I was in the studio last night with Ray Dalton, who had a big record with Macklemore last year. I think it's called "Can't Hold Us Down," or something to that effect. So, yeah, man, I've been in a lot of meetings with labels, and my ace homie out here is on BMG, and he's Ayaz's manager. And he had that record a couple of years ago. I think it was called a Replay. Shorty's like a melody in my head. It was like a summer jam.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's been helping me navigate, through the industry out here, and I've been in a lot of meetings. I had 3 meetings today. I had 2 studio sessions yesterday, and it's been cool. Lots of opportunities for management and publicists and different labels and stuff, and it's just about finding the right situation, man. You find out right away that when you come from Edmonton and Vancouver, I think that a lot of these guys, what they're going for is a deal.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big misconception for musicians, because you find out right away when you come to a place like LA, a deal is a really easy thing to find. What's hard to find is a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, lots of meetings and navigating through the industry people and stuff, and it's been fun, man. It's been cool.
I think you touched on a really good point there about artists and wanting to get a deal. I remember even early on in my career thinking, and the friends that I was working with, we all thought, yeah, we're just going to get a deal and that's going to be it, right? But eventually you start learning that there's a lot of bad stories and horror stories that you hear about artists and stuff that get on labels and have deals that end up, keeping them locked into a contract where they have no freedom and all of their money is basically taken and by the label. But I was really curious, now that the music industry has changed so much, and I'm hearing a lot of talk about like 360 deals and a lot of labels and companies wanting to take, different parts of your of everything, like your touring, your merchandise, all that kind of stuff. What has been your experience in some of these meetings with the labels in regards to like how much they're willing to actually offer you to help you out, and how much they're like asking to take from you?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of 360 deals and stuff floating around. I think that's just sort of how the industry is trying to combat, the position that we are in as artists, because especially now and last year in 2014, 2015, I mean, it's like sort of like the revenge of the artist now. You don't really need to have a record deal. I mean, Joey Badass dropped his record, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, and he sold 50,000 units in the first week. And, everybody's favorite example is Macklemore, and like, obviously the guy's sold millions and millions and millions and millions of singles, and the only thing that he has is distro through Warner. So, I mean, the 360 deals, they're I think, they're probably more prominent than just like straight up record deals. And I mean, the most ideal situation would be to put yourself in a situation like Macklemore or Joey did, and just lock down some distribution. I mean, that's a pretty good end game right there, if you can make that work. So,
lock in distribution. Do you know, or do you have plans of doing such things? Like, where would you go to lock in your distribution if you could?
Well, I mean, I've been dealing with some distro stuff, but I mean, at this point in time, it's like my fan base isn't, it's not like it's not unbearable for me to deal with the size of my fan base right now. Like, I don't even distribution might make sense when I'm in a position where I can't personally like send out my albums and stuff like that, because right now it's like, if I release a mixtape and it sells 1,000 copies or something, it's not a huge deal for me and my partner to just like send those people their purchases digitally. So, I mean, I can definitely predict that there's going to be a point in time where it becomes unmanageable, and at that point in time, it'd probably be smarter for me to explore distribution at that point. And I mean, you can get distro through anyone, man. There's lots of online distribution services. There's tons of indie labels that do distro, and obviously all the majors do it too. So I mean, if you get yourself in a good enough position, obviously it's probably beneficial to go with one of the majors like Warner, Universal, something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I'm just curious about the whole, the process of the whole deal, especially now that the things have kind of changed a little bit in the game. But on the creative end of things, just like musically, there's a lot of like the beats that you choose are really melodic, and you've got a kind of singy kind of way of making your rap sound like they're not just really rough and raw and edgy. It's like you got a nice flow to it and stuff like that. How musically, how did that come about? Like, are you do you play any instruments, or do you produce stuff yourself?
Yeah, primarily I do a lot of my own production. I have been drawing from like a few other sources lately, just because I'm so busy, man. And the last time I was out in LA, I was here for 6 months. I recorded like almost 100 songs when I was out here, and I don't have time to be networking and going to meetings and recording 100 songs and making 100 beats. I just don't have time to do that. So, but I mean, yeah, a lot of the stuff that's out now and a couple things that are about to be released. I have a video dropping on March 2nd for this song called Fight Your Fears, and that's probably going to be the last project that was solely produced by myself for a little while. And I mean, the way that the sort of the melodic stuff has come around was I started out writing poetry and graduated from that to writing rock songs, and I just always gravitated towards rock and roll. I still listen to a ton of Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and Steppenwolf and Janis Joplin and Beatles and stuff like that. And I figured out pretty early on that I didn't have that Robert Plant voice or, a voice like those guys. So I sort of had to, manipulate the type of music I was writing. And it just sort of evolved into hip-hop, but sort of the melodic elements of a lot of the rock music that I listened to kind of just like stuck with me, I think. So, primarily I'm doing rap and a little bit of R&B and stuff now, and I think it's pretty heavily influenced by, stuff like Beatles and more melodic classic rock. So I think that's probably where it comes from.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I can hear that in the music now that you mentioned those names for sure.
Yeah. So
that's cool. Yeah, and sorry, you got your new video you were talking about there. Do you want to talk a little bit about what it's about? Like, you've got the trailer out now, and I know it's dropping soon.
Yeah, essentially it's like I said, it's also a project that I produced on my own. I mixed it with a friend of mine at a place called Rude Coon Records in Los Angeles about a year ago. So the first single is Fight Your Fears, and I think the trailer's kind of ominous feeling. There's obviously these two characters that are in some, they're in love, or there's some sort of romance going on there. And essentially it just follows those two characters. They're down on their luck. They don't have a lot of money. And I think their relationship's a little bit toxic. So the toxicity of their relationship mixed with the financial strain that's on them as a couple just leads them down kind of a crazy path, and they break into some houses and rob some liquor stores, and that's pretty much, that's what it's about, man. It's just following these two people that are just, on a crazy ride together, and it takes you through sort of the development of their relationship and how it turns out in the end. So
that's cool. It sounds like a hip hop version of Having Fun with Dick and Jane.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's probably it's probably a hybrid between that and Natural Born Killers.
Okay. Get a little bit more violent than the stuff they were doing, like stealing lawns.
Yeah, there's definitely some Mickey and Mallory in there for sure. Sure.
That's funny. That's cool. Looking forward to checking that out. And the music that you're making, that's a lot to get done. 100 songs in 6 months for artists out there that think that they're grinding. step your game up. Because Tom MacDonald's in the studio doing his thing. That's crazy, man. One other thing I wanted to touch on was I know Sunreal, he's been posting a lot about being in LA and getting down there. I know you guys have both come up kind of in the Vancouver area. Have you connected with him at all down there? And are you guys kind of working with any of the same producers out there?
Man, honestly, I didn't even know Sun was down here. I knew that he was out here in some sort of touring capacity when I was in Vancouver, but I didn't know that he was still out here. And I mean, I'm like a loner, man. Like, I hang out and I'm just in my zone and doing my thing. So it doesn't, like, you know, the only people I've been meeting are, like, you know, people at meetings and stuff like that. And, you know, obviously when Matt comes out or Stevie comes out or one of the boys come out, I'm definitely in tune with that just because, you know, I have more of a personal relationship with them. So obviously I see them and stuff when they're around. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, man. No, not, haven't been on the phone with Sun, haven't linked up with him, but I'm sure he's busy as hell out here too, man. Sun's been doing this thing for a minute, so.
Word up. And yeah, for the folks that don't know who he's talking about there, Matt, that's Matt Brevner, and actually just did an interview with him recently, I think just a couple of months ago when he released his Eclectricity album, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a great piece of music, man. It's that's definitely my I'm sort of partial to the Bushido project, actually.
Both of them, yeah, no, both are incredible. And actually together, like, they all flow. Like, you can listen to them all mixed in together and they flow nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, Matt's super talented. Eclectricity is dope. Bushido project, I think that's definitely my favorite. Yeah, both great records for sure. And he'll be back out here right away. So we're definitely going to be connecting on the state side when he gets out here.
Word up. Dope. Definitely looking forward to hearing some more music between the two of you and everybody else that you're working with down there. 100 songs in 6 months. I'm sure some of those are going to leak out there soon enough. And this the new video is out, so people can look forward to checking that out. Where's the best place that people can look up your music online? Most of my music is, I kind of like the visual presentation. I'm not much of a SoundCloud guy or anything like that. So best place is probably YouTube. All my stuff's on my website, whoismrmac.com, facebook.com/therealmrmac, and you'll find my YouTube through either one of those sources, and you'll find all my music there. Awesome. There you go, people. Word up. Much respects for taking the time to do the interview, and I'm definitely going to have to link up once the next project drops.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
All right, take care.
All right, you too. Bye.
Peace.